Rainbow Child. They are with us. The CMD of the company is now with us. Sir, if you could just talk to us about the numbers, what happened in terms of revenue, margins and PAT have increased. What led to the growth?
I was speaking to Mr. Pankaj. Yeah, we are coming to the normalizing of the business. The last 2 years, the pediatric hospitals have taken a huge hit because children remained at home, and also it's not been a serious disease in children. So now the coming back into the year 23, that what we are witnessing is that normal growth, and all the operating parameters are going back to pre-COVID level. The metrics actually are looking a lot better now in terms of your outpatient footfalls and the inpatients admissions. What we have witnessed is about 50% growth in the outpatients in the current quarter compared to the previous quarter the last year, and also the 22% growth in the IP admissions compared to the last year Q1. So even the business case mix is completely gone back to the pre-COVID level. So normally our business is when we are operating the matrix is we are dominantly a children's hospital, about 70%, 30% is obstetrics. So within the pediatrics, we do a significant intensive care services, about 30%, almost 1/3 of our beds in intensive care services. We do a multi-specialty services for children. So these are all high average revenue per day. So when this matrix comes back into the picture, our ARPOB will be over 52,000. That's what happened actually. So our ARPOB is consistently growing, and we've grown our ARPOB by 8% compared to the last year. That is adjusting COVID. Last year we had about one-off, which is the COVID vaccinations. We have done about 44 crores. So adjusting that, our ARPOB has grown about 8%. Revenues grown about 17%.
Mr. Kancharla, Dr. Kancharla, this is Cheryl also joining in the conversation, and you just spoke about ARPOB, that's the average revenue per occupied bed, and you also spoke about the number that you've seen on a year-on-year basis. There's been a decline, but nevertheless you did talk about that one-off. Let's talk about the occupancy level. It was higher by about 3% on a year-on-year basis at around 43%. ARPOB and occupancy levels, how do you see both of these numbers going ahead?
I think that our occupancy levels are, we are adding beds continuously year-on-year basis. In a kind of consolidated state, our occupancies, normally pre-COVID level, we were doing about 56% occupancy. We're expected to go beyond 50% this year occupancy. And we do not do much of a government business. We are a children's hospital and women's hospital, very less of government business. And our ALOS are very low, average length of stay, which is about 2.7, 2.8. So when you have a shorter ALOS, better revenue case mix, that gives us a superior ARPOB in the industry.
Right. So can you just talk to us about the overall, the point that you mentioned that, this particular business has suffered and how it is now coming back. Do you think it will continue for this year? I mean, still a lot of pent-up demand or pending surgeries are remaining?
No, we don't see much of a pent-up demand in the pediatrics. And what we see, we would expect to come back to our normal business. So unlike adult healthcare, we don't see much of pent-up demand. In the last year, when we had a bouncy year, the periods of normalcy, the surgeries which have been pending, we were able to do them, which is why we've done our revenues well last year, because it was a bit of bouncy year quarter to quarter. But what we would like to, we would witness is this year is the pretty normal pre-COVID business, which is normally we grow about 20% year on year. When we look at the financial metrics, our EBITDA, we stand about 25%. That's been the scenario, good 3-4 years pre-COVID. We expect to come back to the pre-COVID growth, both in terms of revenues as well as the EBITDA.
Right. Dr. Kancharla, we leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, talking about the quarter gone by for Rainbow Children's Hospital and the way ahead as well. And that was Dr. Ramesh Kancharla, who's the CMD at Rainbow Children's Hospital.